Welcome to Easy Drive channel. Today we are looking at Distanza di Sicurezza, safety distance between vehicles. Distanza di Sicurezza is the distance you keep from between you and the vehicle ahead of you. The distance you keep between you and the vehicle ahead of you, while the one behind you is also keeping its own safety distance. So you are concerned about the one that is ahead of you. It's called Distanza di Sicurezza. If today is the first time you are watching my video, please like, share and subscribe so that you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. To understand Distanza di Sicurezza, we need to look at what they call spazio percorso durante il tempo di reazione. You know, when you are driving, at some point you have a need to stop, probably for traffic light, probably for pedestrians, for whatsoever traffic condition that warrants you to stop. The first thing that comes to your mind is you realize that you need to stop. Meanwhile, while you were driving, your leg was originally on the accelerator. A lot of people call it throttle. So since your brain decided to stop the vehicle, you react. So react by removing your leg from the throttle, taking it down to the brake. From the time your leg leaves the throttle to the time that it touches the brake pedal, that is the time they call tempo di reazione. From the time your leg leave the throttle and touch the brake, that is the tempo di reazione. So the space the car cover, you know you are on a motion. So before your leg leave the throttle and touch the brake, your car probably definitely have covered some space. So that space is called spazio percorso durante il tempo di reazione. So the space that you still drive on, the space that your vehicle still move on, covered while you were removing your leg from the throttle to the brake. That is called spazio percorso durante il tempo di reazione. So I took my time to explain this one very well because a lot of people find this difficult to understand. Spazio di frenatura. Spazio di frenatura. Spazio di frenatura is when your leg has already touched the brake. From that time, meanwhile, immediately your leg touched the brake, you start applying the brake to the time that the vehicle will finally stop. That is called spazio di frenatura. That's the braking space. First, you react by removing your leg from the throttle and put it on the brake. That is called reaction time, tempo di reazione. Then after putting your leg on the brake, you start mashing the brake. All these things I'm saying happen within few seconds, milliseconds. It's not up to a second or 2 seconds, but meanwhile the vehicle covers some space, no matter how small it is. So the first phase you react is called tempo di reazione. The second phase you mash the brake, you apply the brake, is called the braking time, which is spazio di frenatura. If you add your reaction time to your braking time, it gives you spazio totale di arresto. Spazio percorso durante il tempo di reazione plus spazio di frenatura give you spazio totale di arresto, because you realize right from when you realize till when you stop, that is the spazio totale di arresto. But meanwhile, right from when you realize right from when you start mashing brake till when you stop is spazio di frenatura. So I took my time very well because how confusing this can be for some people. So these are the diagram. So they differentiate the color of the vehicle. So but it's still one particular car. So look at it. Why this color was blue, he realized he need to stop. Then look at that line till this line. You see this space is yellow. That is the reaction time. The reaction time. So the reaction time might increase if it was on call. The reaction time might increase if it was overexcited or if it was tired. So we'll look at those ones later. Then look at where from this green spot, that was when he started mashing the brake. Because now from this blue to the green is when he removed his leg from throttle and put on the brake. From the green to the yellow at the front, which he covered this orange color space, it's called the braking time. That is when he applied the brake till when it stopped. So all together, look at it under it: Distanza, the Sicurezza. So all of them together, they are the braking distance. So and your security distance must be at least the space that is enough for these two things to happen. So later we will check on how to calculate your security distance. Conditions that can affect the distance. Conditions that can affect the Distanza di Sicurezza. Velocità, which means speed. So depends on the speed you are. That is what will affect how much distance you should give to the vehicle ahead of you. Peso di carico, the weight of the load in your vehicle will affect the space you need to give to the vehicle ahead of you. That is Distanza di Sicurezza. So if your weight is higher, you need to give a longer space, because it's more difficult to stop vehicle that is loaded than to stop an empty vehicle. Condizione di freno di servizio. Condition of the service brake. The service brake is the brake that you mash with your leg. While the freno di stazionamento or frenamano, that is the handbrake, is called freno di stazionamento. So there is a quiz that will tell you that your Distanza di Sicurezza depends on how active your freno di stazionamento is. The answer is fast, so because you don't need the handbrake to stop the vehicle. You only use the handbrake to station the vehicle at a particular spot after you have stopped the vehicle. So it is the service brake. How active your service brake is will depend on how much space, the security distance that you are going to give. Condizione atmosferico, atmospheric condition. So this one is talking about maybe if the ground is wet, maybe it's raining, or there is snow or ice on the asphalt. So those are the conditions that will also warrant you to increase your Distanza di Sicurezza. So you have to increase your Distanza di Sicurezza when it is raining, when when there is snow, when the road is covered with ice. So because why? The forza di aderenza will become low. The grip force will become low. Forza di aderenza diminuisce. So if the forza aderenza diminuisce, you have to increase your safety distance, because when we talk about forza aderenza at the end of the video, I will explain that very well. Condizione di battistrada, condition of the tire tread. When we say battistrada, we are talking about the machine ground. Let me call it machine ground of the tire. These are the tread of the tire. So how far, how worn out it is. You understand? Let me use our local word that we understand. Like we say, the tire don't fight. If the tire don't fight finish, it will affect your safety distance, because the grip between the tire and the asphalt will become very low. So it can slip from the floor. So then it will affect your safety distance, because it's actually affecting your braking distance, your braking distance, tempo di frenatura. So why this in the case of condizione, okay, yeah, condizione di asfalto. we are talking about how smooth the asphalt or how rough the asphalt is. If the asphalt, you see there are some spots on the road, it will be very smooth, like it will be very, very smooth. Those areas you need to keep a safety distance that is higher. So there are also some spots on the asphalt, it will look like it is rough, a kind of, not, I'm not talking about potholes, I'm not talking about bad road. You will see the surface will not be as smooth like nylon. No, it will just look like sandpaper. So those places, it is very easy to stop on those places, unlike the place that is smooth like ties. So if some area of the road is very smooth like ties, to stop the vehicle becomes more difficult. But if it is a kind of rough, like rough sandpaper, to stop the vehicle will be easier, because there's a quiz that will tell you, say la conditionner di asfalto è ruvido, you increase your safety distance faster, because if that place is ruvido, like if it is very sharp, your safety distance, you don't need to increase your safety distance because it is easier for you to stop then. Condizione psicofisica. Condizione psicofisica. Psychophysics condition. When we say psychophysics condition, it's talking about two things together: your psychological condition and your physical condition. So talking about psychological condition, it affects the reaction time. Remember, the reaction time is inside the spatial, the Sicurezza. So the reaction time will be affected when you are not psychologically fit. For instance, you are stressed up, or you are over excited, or you are panic, you are worried over something. So, or maybe you are so tired. So those ones are psychological reasons why you should increase your safety distance. If you feel that you are so tired, like your reflex is very low, you have to give a very long space to the vehicle ahead of you. Then physically talking again, maybe for instance, you cannot compare somebody that have a leg injury or any other physical issue. The reaction will be lower than that of somebody that is very fit. So those are the reasons, those are the things they check when you go for an eye test. It's not just only the eye test, they check your reflex also. For instance, the doctor asks you to identify a number. If you waste too much time if it takes you so much time to identify a particular number, you can also mark it as a very low reflex for you. So now this is how to calculate the safety distance. For me, I prefer you memorize it. It's just 4. So you memorize it. I don't really deal with this mathematics in the middle. But normally the formula they always use is you divide any figure of your speed by 10 and times it by 3. Then any number that is closer to it, like any number that is closer to it is the number. Like for instance now, if you are running at speed 50 kilometers per hour, you times it by 10, it becomes 500. 500 is, you divide it by 10, it becomes 5, and 5 times 3 becomes 15. And the quiz tell you that if you are running 50 kilometers per hour, your safety distance should be 14 meters. So for me, I just prefer just memorize them. 50, 14. Well, if you are running 100, you go for 28. If you are running at 130, 36. And if you are running at 150, you keep 42 meters per hour. Sorry, 42 meters between you and the vehicle at your front. So I want to really explain the forza di aderenza. Forza di aderenza is the grip between the battistrada and asfalto. The grip between the tread of the tire and the pavement, that is the surface of the road. So if you watch this one now, you see this particular driver applies the brake. You see how grip, like because of the grip on the surface, that is the line you are seeing now. So the relationship between the tread of your tire and the surface of the road is called forza di aderenza. So things that can affect forza di aderenza are the condition of the road, then the usura di battistrada, which is if the tire tread is worn out, then if there is snow on the road, if there is rainfall, ice on the road, those are things that can affect the forza di aderenza. Se la forza di aderenza diminuisce, that is, if the grip reduce, it is better you increase your safety distance. So let us say it on like a reality. You will see somebody telling a fellow driver, guy is so free, ground the draw, no near that motor too much. It's just telling him to keep a longer safety distance. So I just hope all this explanation will solve the problem of Distanza di Sicurezza. So in case you still have any doubt, if you are already in my class, ask question. So if you are not in my class yet, I have a number on YouTube that you can use to contact me. Then if I am starting up a new group after I am done with this one, I will also announce it on all my social media platforms. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. Bye.